Well, you're here because you filled out a survey about a guy and he scored a C. In many important ways, this guy is falling short. Welcome to the Strong Brew, where you get answers to questions you're not supposed to ask. These are some things you may want to know about the man in your life. If you do really well in your career, will he become insecure? Will he try and use money to control you? Will he share housework or just make you do it all? In fights, when he gets angry, does he get aggressive? During intimacy, does he understand that no means no? Is he jealous, suspicious, or possessive? Will his attitude towards you change after having kids? Will he treat your parents with respect? What if you have conflicts with his parents? We tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. These are things nobody else will tell you, things that are important for your future. This is a safe space for truth. No judgment, no platitudes, no login, no payment either. Our questions are from real life, but our answers come from science. Now, I built this thing, me and my husband, and honestly, we built it and we live it. We are both Stanford grads, we both have worked at Google, and we've been happily together since 1998. Along the way, we've added a son, now 13, and 4 dogs. We are genuine folks. If you're a woman trying to understand any man in your life, here is how it works. Go to www.thestrongbrew.life. Click on the Understand a Guy button there. Answer 10 questions about him. Watch a video tailored to your guy. That's all there is to it. It is completely anonymous, no login, no payment, no games, no manipulation. This analysis is obtained by combining solid trait psychology with cutting edge AI ML. We represent each person's personality with what is known as a feature vector. This has 10 elements, so our data is effectively 10 dimensional data. In case you're wondering how we can infer so much from just 10 questions, well, 10 dimensional data is very complex. There is a lot you can learn from that level of detail.
Okay, I think that does it for the preamble. Now let's plunge in. Let's start with this guy in his career. Will he go far or just talk big?
He's the type who will put in effort at work and keep himself busy, but he probably won't rise to the very top or push himself for big promotions. He prefers the familiar and will do what's needed to get by, not to stand out. You might find that he sticks to safe choices rather than taking bold steps in his career.
Can he bounce back from failure?
When something goes wrong at work, he tends to keep his worries to himself and quietly pull away rather than show his feelings. He won't yell or make a scene, but he might withdraw and avoid talking about problems. Don't expect him to ask for help or share what's bothering him.
What do people at work think of him? Do they like him?
People at work probably see him as someone who keeps to himself and doesn't go out of his way to make friends. He isn't likely to cause loud fights or arguments, but he may come across as unfriendly or hard to approach. Respect will come more from his hard work than from his people skills.
If you do really well in your career, will he become insecure?
If you do really well in your career, he's not likely to cheer loudly or celebrate with you. Instead, he may seem distant or quiet about it, not sure how to show support or join in your happiness. He probably won't pick fights or act out, but he might pull back, keeping his feelings hidden inside.
What if you start earning more than him?
If you earn more than him, he may not talk openly about how he feels, but there's a chance he'll carry quiet discomfort inside. He won't start arguments or openly complain, but you might notice him becoming more withdrawn or reserved around money matters. It's not about anger, but more about a silent struggle to adjust to the change in roles.
Next, let's talk about how he is with money. Does he overspend? Is he reckless with money?
He isn't the most organized when it comes to handling money, so sometimes he may spend on things that catch his eye or suit his taste without much planning. He might enjoy buying things that look nice or make him feel good in the moment rather than carefully saving or budgeting. If careful money management is important for you, you might need to guide or help him stay on track.
Does he show off and pretend to be richer than he is?
He's more likely to be drawn to nice things and experiences, sometimes spending beyond his means to enjoy them. He isn't showing off loudly or bragging about being rich, but he may quietly indulge in things that make him feel good, even if they're a little out of reach. If no one steps in, he could end up with money troubles without really meaning to.
Is he too generous, too stingy, or just right?
He isn't naturally warm or generous with people, whether it's money or kind gestures. He tends to hold back when it comes to showing care or helping out. And you might find him keeping to himself rather than reaching out to others. If you're looking for someone open hearted or giving, he may feel a bit closed off or self focused.
Will he use money to try and control you?
He's not the type to openly talk about money matters or include you in financial decisions. Instead, he's more likely to keep things to himself, leaving you guessing about what's really happening. This can make it hard to build trust or plan together, so you may need to gently encourage more open conversations.
Let's see how this guy is with sharing housework. Will he share housework or just make you do it?
He's unlikely to see housework as something both partners should share equally. He may expect you to handle most of the chores, quietly treating it as your responsibility rather than something to split. If equal sharing is important to you, you'll probably need to clearly ask for his support, as he doesn't naturally jump in.
Will he help you or just boss you around and tell you what to do?
He's more likely to hang back and watch while you do most of the work rather than truly pitching in with chores or taking care of diapers. You might find him giving advice from the side or commenting on what needs to be done, but not actually rolling up his sleeves himself. This can leave you feeling like most of the daily work is falling on your shoulders.
Now let's see about how this guy is during fights. In fights, does he try to understand your views or just win the fight?
He usually doesn't argue just to prove he's right, but he also doesn't put much effort into truly understanding your side. Instead, he tends to withdraw from the conversation or avoid expressing much emotion, keeping his thoughts to himself. When you share your feelings, he might seem distant or unresponsive rather than engaged or caring.
Does he become aggressive when angry?
When he's angry, he typically doesn't shout or say hurtful things. Instead, he gets quiet and pulls away, holding his feelings inside rather than letting them out in a disrespectful or aggressive way. He won't use harsh words, but the silence itself can feel heavy.
Does he have a bad temper?
He isn't the kind of man who gets angry quickly or easily explodes over small things. Most of the time, he keeps his feelings in check and rarely shows open anger. When he does get upset, he tends to withdraw and go silent rather than cause a scene.
Will he say sorry and accept his mistakes?
He finds it hard to say sorry or take responsibility when something goes wrong. Instead of blaming you openly or starting arguments, he's more likely to stay silent and not talk about the problem at all. You may notice that he avoids the topic, hoping it will go away on its own.
Next, let's talk about intimacy and physical chemistry. During intimacy, does he respect your boundaries? Does he get that no means no?
He's unlikely to push your boundaries aggressively or argue when you say no, but he might not fully understand or acknowledge your feelings either. If you clearly and firmly say no, he will typically pull back rather than insist or create a scene. However, he may not check in or talk about your comfort, simply avoiding the topic instead.
If you are not in the mood for intimacy, will he react badly?
He is not likely to take it personally or react with anger if you're not in the mood for intimacy. Instead, he will probably just become quiet and withdrawn, keeping his feelings to himself rather than expressing disappointment or hurt. He won't push you or pressure you, but he also might not ask how you're feeling or talk about it.
Can you trust him not to shame you or share your private moments, maybe love letters, photos, or videos, even after a breakup or a bad fight?
Yes, you can generally trust him not to use private moments to hurt or embarrass you later. He isn't the kind of person who will bring up your secrets or intimate details in a fight or in front of others. He keeps things to himself and values his own privacy too, so he's unlikely to cross that line.
Is he loyal or is he likely to want to have affairs?
He's generally not someone who chases after new excitement or gets easily swept away by attention from other women. He tends to stick with what's comfortable and familiar rather than looking for thrills or new connections. So you can feel fairly secure that he will remain faithful even if he isn't always emotionally close.
Will he be jealous, suspicious, and try to control you?
No, he is not the type to be overpossessive, jealous, or controlling. He doesn't keep a close watch on what you do or show much suspicion about your friends or activities. Instead, he keeps to himself and lets you have your space.
This guy says he is protective in a good way. Is he actually just being possessive?
No, with him, being protective is not a cover for controlling or dominating your life. He's not the kind to watch over you closely, set strict rules, or try to make your choices for you. So his quiet ways are not about control, but about staying in his own space.
Now, onto the topic of kids and how this guy will be as a father. If you guys have kids, will he make you do most of the work?
He's likely to think of parenting as mainly your job, quietly expecting you to handle most of the work without much help. He doesn't often step in or offer to share responsibilities, so you'll probably be the one taking care of daily needs, organizing activities, and solving problems. He may do the minimum or supervise from the side, but won't naturally treat raising kids as something that should be done together.
Kids are very messy. Will he lose his temper with them?
When the kids mess up or get upset, he will usually stay calm and not lose his temper. He's not one to shout or scold harshly. Instead, he's more likely to remain quiet and keep his feelings inside. So you can expect a peaceful atmosphere, but not a very supportive or involved response.
If you guys have kids, will he still support your career?
He won't stand in your way or openly criticize your choices, but he may not go out of his way to cheer you on or make you feel seen either. If you take on many roles, mother, worker, or anything else, he will likely let you handle it on your own, quietly stepping back rather than getting involved or encouraging you. You might not face open resistance, but you also won't get active support or appreciation.
Will this man say one thing early on, maybe while dating, and then later, after kids and marriage, change his tune and try to make you give up your career?
He's not likely to push you to quit your job after having a child, nor is he the type to make demands about your career. However, he also isn't the kind who will actively support or encourage your ambitions. He tends to let you make your own decisions without much input. If you continue working, he'll quietly accept it. If you choose to quit, he won't protest.
Next, let's see how this guy treats your parents. Will he be respectful with your parents?
He's more likely to just act polite on the surface with your parents rather than show real warmth or build a close relationship with them. He doesn't naturally open up or make extra efforts to connect, so his interactions may feel formal or distant rather than genuinely caring. You might notice that he keeps conversations brief and sticks to basic manners without involving himself in family bonding or emotional support. He's not someone who will go out of his way to adjust to your family or make special efforts to fit in.
What if your family creates stress or interferes a bit in your lives?
If your family creates stress or interferes, he will handle it by staying calm and keeping his distance rather than reacting strongly or making things worse. He won't pick fights or say hurtful things, but he also won't jump in to solve problems or ease the situation. His approach is to quietly pull away, letting you deal with the stress on your own.
Then let's analyze the role this guy's family will play in your life. Is this man modern with you, but a completely different person when other people, say his parents or bosses, are around?
He's not the type to be modern with you in private and then suddenly expect you to become a traditional supportive wife just to please his relatives. In fact, he's more likely to keep to himself and not pay much attention to these expectations at all. He won't push you to act a certain way for others, but he also won't stand up for your choices if relatives have opinions.
If there is tension between you and his parents, will he support you?
If there's tension, he will most likely stay out of it rather than actively support you or side with his family. He prefers to avoid conflict and keeps his distance when emotions run high, so you shouldn't expect him to speak up for you or help resolve issues. He isn't likely to take anyone's side openly, but this means you may feel alone in handling family drama or disagreements.
Say you have a conflict with his mother. What will this guy do?
He isn't the classic mummy's boy who runs to his mother for every decision or puts her above everyone else. At the same time, he's not likely to openly choose your side in a conflict with his mother either. He won't back his mother's opinions loudly, but he also won't stand up for you or help clear the air.
Will he share all the private details of your relationship with his mother or sister?
He's not the type to share every detail of your fights or private life with his mother or sister. Instead, he keeps things to himself and rarely opens up about personal matters, even with close family. This means your disagreements or private moments are likely to stay between you two, not turned into family gossip.
Now let's zoom out and put it all together.
So that's the story. This guy scores a C. In many important ways, this guy is falling short of the standard we would want. Being in a relationship with him day after day can feel steady but emotionally distant. He shows up for daily routines and gets his own work done, but you may find yourself carrying the load when it comes to connection, communication, and warmth.